just get used to, you know, whether it's the different shot scenarios we did yesterday, sitting, kneeling, you know, put a pack on. The other things I worked in some of those shot situation videos with Rockside was internal, external rotation. I mean, if you get drawn back, let's just say you're sitting on a stump, you're sitting on a log, and you get drawn back on an animal and it starts to track around, and you're having to track around, I mean, can you make this shot, right? Or vice versa, can you track around internally? And that's where what Dan does and tying everything together fitness-wise is so huge, because, you know, shooting is so much core and stabilization. Everybody wants to focus on stabilizers or, you know, whatever. I need to adjust my draw length. If you can't start with your trunk and your base and get your body posture and positioning set first, then it's that whole, you know, you're trying to drive down the road with the squeaky wheel. You're not going to get there. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Nice.
The last thing is, I watch most of you shoot. Seems like most of you, if you're shooting the index finger, most of you are doing a really good job with getting the finger on the trigger and trying to work to the shot. A couple of you guys it was like, man, this finger on the trigger, it seems like they're, you know, working through that shot, pin's moving a little bit, boom, you still trusted yourself within the shot. So, and that in itself is huge, because I would say that the vast majority of people that have issues with shooting in general, it has a lot of it to do with executing just on the trigger and the release side of what they're doing, because they're anticipating their method of aiming and the shooting. And there's other people like Joel that Dan's worked with that have different philosophies on how to get you to your end goal. I've sat in on one of Joel's seminars, not his full one, and I like a lot of what he talks about. The one thing that I don't know that I differ, I just haven't sat through his stuff enough, is when he's talking about you have to make a conscious decision that you're going to be successful and create that shot. Is that what I mean, am I on the same track when you're going to tell yourself, I'm going to make this shot, you're going to do what you need to execute that shot, in control, taking the shot. Where the only thing I would say as an asterisk or add on to that is, if you get on an animal or you get on a target, even in a competition, and you draw your bow back and you're telling yourself, I'm gonna make a good shot, I'm gonna hold steady, pin, squeeze, aim, squeeze, whatever you're doing, if that wind happens to pick up and do something like this to you, and it diverts your attention from what you're doing, let down, start over, okay? Make that conscious decision at that point to stay in control. Just because you drew the bow back doesn't mean you have to let the arrow go. Even if it's just that when you draw your bow back, and this is what I used to do when I used to train to hunt a lot, I would work out to the point where I had a heart rate monitor on, as is how anal I was getting. Heart rate monitor, and I was shooting, and I would sit there and I would track, okay, 2 deep breaths, I get my heart rate down to X, execute the shot. I pause my breath when I shoot a little bit, okay? Some of you think that, maybe you've been taught you have to breathe through your shot process. I'm gonna promise you that the guys that are shooting at the top level, even though they're not doing this, they're pausing their breath, because even the smallest breath is creating pin movement. So I would get to the point where I know that I can pause that breath for 3 to 5 seconds, enough to execute my shot. And if it got to where it was like 2 breaths isn't enough, after I'm 20 minutes into a workout, I might need 4 breaths to calm myself enough to shoot that. So it was something, like I said, I'm not gonna bore you with what I did at that point, but I think I was one of 2 people to clean the 3D course when we were judging yardage, and then clean the challenge course the same time when we were doing train to hunt, where it was everything physical and then just the shooting portion of it, but it's because I was that anal and taking notes and really tracking stuff. I'd say that there were shooters out there that were equally as good as I was, but they didn't put the prep time into knowing that. And that's why this kind of game just stemmed from things that we've done. But to help you get better at something like this or transition into the field, I don't see there's anything wrong with, like I said, running a heart rate monitor on, see where you're shooting, and then track that stuff. Because if you know that if you're over 135, 140 beat sprint, you cannot steady that way, then don't shoot there. You know, get yourself for your couple more deep breaths and come back down.
Like a bear, you don't have to run fast.
Go.
3-yard shot, you got it. 3-yard shot. Back, grab that sandbag, good job.
Good clean shots.
So if you go
Nice.